Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. Today we are taking on the newest Shinryu fight, which is Ursula and Shantotto's fight. Um, and I decided to just brute strength my way through this with Reks. Now, this fight does a couple of things that they're really pushing like Shantotto in having like specific elements. And then also in that, like, paralyze is pretty important here. And then they're also pushing Ursula because they really heavily negate Brave Gain. So right here, early on, the Brave Gains are okay, like, they're fine. But, as their gauge goes up or whatever, like, the Brave Gains get ridiculous. They negate a lot. And they start absorbing or resisting, not absorbing, but they, like, resist pretty much every element except for Shantotto's element. So it's what Holy, Wind, and Dark are the only elements that can get through. And then non-elemental, I think they do like 90% brave damage reduction. So they're like, they really want you locked into those three elements or they want you enchanted. So they're kind of pushing Shantotto BT because Shantotto's BT can just dark enchant the party and you're good. Now what I did is kind of a sneaky way to get around it is Reks, there's really no helping him here. He's going to be doing lightning damage. But because I've got Ursula, what my plan is to actually use Ursula FR, which is going to keep the Brave very high, very capped. So even if Reks isn't doing Brave damage, he'll still get really good damage from Ursula's Brave gains during her FR. So that's how I'm going to kind of use Reks, because I really wanted to use Reks here because not only is this a 3-target fight, but like the 3 targets are very tanky. Like the 2 Shantottos on the side, like they don't die super easy. So that's kind of my route for getting around that, right? And then what I did to make it so that Aerith and Ursula, since they're non-elemental, I did bring a Fujin Call. And the Fujin Call is a 6-turn, so we're going to throw that on right now. It's a 6-turn wind enchant, so it's going to allow me to like push through and get some damage. Because otherwise, these Shantottos, you see they Brave Gain, and they are ridiculously hard to break if you're not doing proper elements because you can't do Brave damage to them. So that's one of the nasty things that you're kind of trying to work around here. But I'm really just trying to brute force this fight. Also, Ursula does have, I believe, an instant break that you can use. So that's another good tech you can use here as well. So Ursula, I did make a mistake because I did kind of force charge a couple times. I probably should have waited. You can see I'm like popping because what I think what it was I kind of like second guessed and like changed my strategy here. But my thought was I was going to try to rush into force before them. And then I kind of decided at the last second to like, they're getting their force gauge so fast that I actually decided to let them get their force so that I could cancel it. So I kind of decided that after popping the Fujin Call, so I wasted a bunch of Fujin Call turns here, which was fine. The fight still worked out, but realistically, I should have used Fujin Call at the very end of all that to have more turns of it, because you can see I burned like 3 turns of the call, but it's fine. It works out. So what'll happen is Ursula and Shantotto can both break their force time. So the 2 ways to break their force time is to deal dark damage with a force attack, or just to have Cat Brave and deal force damage. And Ursula then can allow pretty much any character to break them. You just got to make sure your Brave is capped. Now, the way Ursula gets around the Brave gain negation is that Ursula's Brave gains, what they do is they just set your Brave to your max Brave value. And since it's quote-unquote just like setting the value, it's not actually doing a Brave gain. So it gets around heavy Brave gain reductions, which is one of the good qualities of Ursula, right? So now we're in Ursula Force, and you can see, dude, her Echo on her own is like a really big gain. I think we got like over 100% there, which was really nice. So Ursula can ramp the gauge pretty good. So my thought here is to essentially just kind of go through, do some echoing. We got to get Rex's BT effect up ASAP. And then my goal is just to get into a Reks burst with as many turns as possible after getting all my echoes out. And then just like absolutely obliterating. Now I did do a previous run of this with Tifa. And Tifa works really well here because she's non-elemental. You can Fujin Call her or, use Shantotto to enchant her. And she's going to be great. The thing I found, though, is that, like, these 3 targets are, like, heavy enough that, like, Tifa can't handle all 3. But if you are doing a single target strategy, I do recommend you burst down the middle Shantotto. Because the other, like, nasty mechanic that this fight has is the middle Shantotto has 2 thresholds where she does a red aura. And basically, if she has the red aura, her next attack is a single target auto kill. And the only way you can cancel the red aura is to let Shantotto take a turn. So there are a few ways you can kind of get around this. The ideal way, the way they want you to do it, is if you paralyze Shantotto. So if you paralyze her with the red aura, it counts as taking a turn. She doesn't auto kill you, and you lose the red aura. So that's the ideal way to deal with it. Now another way you can deal with it is to have Aerith or Aiko, which they're promoting Aiko because Aiko's on one of the banners, is to just let the kill hit you and then auto revive. So that's another one. That's the less ideal way. And then another way, which is kind of what I do in this fight, is you just bum rush it and you kill Shantotto through all of those thresholds, and you just kill her before she gets a turn with the red aura. So that's what I pretty much do in this video, because Reks just does so much freaking damage. And the thing is Rex's damage does get like heavily reduced, because Reks normally on these obstacle pluses is normally doing, when you're maxed out, he's normally doing like 10 mil a shot AoE. What ends up happening here in my force time or my burst phase is he does about 5 mil AoE. So he's doing about half the damage he normally does. And I think that's due to like all the brave damage reductions, right? So even with Reks doing half damage, it's still enough to obliterate the fight, because it's 3 targets. That's still 15 mil. And he does it twice. If you add up all the AoE damage, he's still doing 15 mil twice before he takes his turn, which is kind of, so right there you see it's 4 mil AoE, so he's doing 15 mil on each obstacle plus, and he does it twice, and that doesn't even count as normal damage. So even though we only have 4 turns here, I still opt to go to burst, get as much as I can out of Reks, and he does so much damage. It's just crazy. It's so funny. Like, Reks is a character. He's a prime example of a character, and I've had this happen in the game before, where there's been a character where I'm like, yep, I'm just not going to pull for the character. And then I end up, for one reason or another, going all in on the character, and absolutely thankful that I did. Because Reks is just, he's like, because I've had Tifa, right? And Tifa's been my main DPS. But to have like a really nice AoE powerhouse like Reks is so good. And what I like too about Reks is he's still good in single target fights. He's not like Twins where he's just wrecked without it. And I like him a lot better than Squall. I know a lot of people like Squall for AoE, but I've even heard from people that have used Squall recently, and it's just like, yeah, his damage just fell off so fast. He just doesn't feel as good. And Reks here is dominating. Now, obviously, our boy Astos is going to be coming, and then we'll all be good on our DPSs once Astos shows up. I am highly recommending players go for him. But you're going to see here, dude, with the launching, because we have Rain's Call on too. So, like, with the launching and everything, we are just, and I'm really focused on bursting down the middle Shantotto, because you can see she's in red aura. So we basically went through both thresholds, and we're just going to kill her before we get attacked. So that was the strategy I opted to do here, was rather than deal with paralyzing, rather than deal with trying to auto-revive, we just bum rush it. And that's I think, the way a lot of players are going to handle this that aren't doing it traditionally. They do allow you to just bum rush the fight, and this middle Shantotto is going to be out of here. So we get through, and middle Shantotto gone, and now we don't have to worry about anything. And here's the other thing. The middle Shantotto is the force time user on their side, so even if they hit their force gauge to 100, they actually don't enter force time. So the ads now are pretty much just like normal enemies. Now, they do still get like the gauge effects on the top, which, you know, heavily reduces our brave gains and all that stuff, so it is good to like still negate their force time, even if it's just the ads out. So at this point now, we're pretty much through the force time, but you can see the ads are still pretty tanky. It takes us a little while to get them down. And so at this point, I'm just like, all right, well, let's just try to get into another force time, because I believe I have another Reks force, because I did not echo with Reks. So Reks has another force I can use. So I know this fight's going to be fine. Because the one thing to be careful of with this fight is it is only a 40 turn restriction. So it is a pretty, like, they want you to get it done quick. And one of my failed fights was actually a Tifa run where I did not realize how tanky the ads were going to be. I went all in on my first Tifa force and used all of my echoes and everything. And I had that middle Shantotto gone, but like both of the enemies still had like 20% or something. And basically I took too many turns. Like, I got it done in 42 turns is what happened. And all I had to do on that run was just save one more force time and not echo, and I would have been fine. But that was kind of one of my first dry runs. So I said, you know, with the 3 enemies, I just really want to bring Reks in here. And we made it happen. So Reks here, even though this is kind of like a soft elemental lockout, we still got Reks through just fine. And the reason why I say it's a soft lockout is because the real lockouts are when they absorb it. That's really nasty. But here they just heavily resist it. They don't actually absorb it. So it was fine. We got through, you know, Ursula's FR is very, very good. So for keeping the Brave damage up or the Brave numbers up, she does work out great. And like I said, if you don't have Gladio, Ursula is a good character to go all in on. Now, we are looking ahead because there is going to be potentially some really good stuff coming up. So like I said, if you're on the fence about polling right now, definitely wait for the community stream so that you know exactly what's coming before you go in. I'm thinking I might, like later today, I may actually put out another video talking about like the month of July and like I kind of want to do a hypothetical video that says, you know, if we're not getting a global first, there's no Final Fantasy 16 like I'm thinking, if they're just going to follow the schedule straight, like how early would Aztecs actually come? And just talk about like what July could look like if we don't get anything to fill in these like 2 to 3 week gaps. So I might make that video right after this one and just put that up. We'll see how it does. Because it could be a regular thing where like maybe a few days before the community stream I can just put out ahead of time. Because I know, like according to JP timeline, what should be coming out and what should be dropping. And there's a lot of players that maybe they don't know where to find that information or don't want to research, and it's just nice to have it, like if you already subbed to my channel, just to get that info. So maybe I could do like a monthly, like this is the timeline and this is what's coming out. Maybe people would like that before the community stream. You can let me know if you think that's a good idea or not, but I'm just trying to come up with some other ideas for videos. Since I am on summer break, I do have more time to do some videos, right? I got to get some Dokkan stuff out too. I know I haven't done Dokkan stuff in a while. But anyways, we're about to finish up the fight, and you can see it's still a point where like we pretty much don't need the second force because we've pretty much already got him dead. But if I get to my force time, I'm gonna do it anyways, just to get it done as soon as possible. But you can see now that we don't have like the Fujin call up or anything, like they're just resisting everything. We're dealing zeros, like non-stop zeros. So my only way now to break them is to do Ursula's instant break attack, right? The nice thing is, though, is Eris overhead still does really good damage, right? The off turn. So that's what's really nice. So I'm like, yeah, let's just chakra through. Like, just use up as much of these free turns as I can while semi-charging, right? Ursula isn't an actual force charger, but she does get free turns, which can push the gauge up a little bit, right? So we can see we're getting like 2 to 3% each time we do it. We'll pop that bad boy right there. And then, yeah, and then we come up. So I just got fully force charged, and then Reks just finished it off. So we didn't even get into the second force time. But there you go. There's the Shinryu fight. Let me know how you handled this one. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.